welcome to the latest episode of the Team Venom Wrestling Podcast. We are your wonderful hosts, Rory Bailey and Connor Franks. How are you, Mr. Franks?
I'm good. I'm very good. How are you?
I'm awesome, man. Yeah, good. And I'm especially good for the subject matter of this evening's episode.
Absolutely.
I feel like with the stuff that we've gone through on this, I mean, like the first episode we did of this with the Superstar Spotlight on Christian. We did the episode where we talked about the Hardyz, and we've now got to the point where there's a massive thing where the Dudley boys are coming out of retirement for a match at Bound for Glory against the Hardy boys.
One last time.
Yeah, and loads of people are moaning about it, but I'll just say I am absolutely all for it, and therefore this episode is going to be a celebration of both of those wonderful teams and some of their matches.
Oh, absolutely.
I just like that intro. It was great, wasn't it? Like,
yeah, man.
Brought it all in. Yeah, professional.
I like it.
Yes. So, like one of the things that I know me and you have spoke about this on other podcasts in the past years ago, but not on this one. But one of the things that one of the earliest wrestling memories that I had, one of the things that swung me back into wrestling when I was in my early teens was I had the Three Faces of Foley video. In fact, we were on about it in person because I bought you it in York.
You did, indeed.
That was it. That's when we were on about it. So the VHS of it, my great grandparents got it me for Christmas one year. Like that. I was like, oh yeah, Rory likes wrestling. We're getting this, not realizing I was going to watch Mick Foley's teeth go through his lip and other such wonderful spots. But at that point, it was 98, I think that came out, and the whole thing of that Three Faces of Foley is that Mick Foley sat chatting to the Hardy boys, who at that point were unknowns.
Yeah.
So the whole documentary, it's not like, most documentaries now, you just get like the speaker looking at the screen and it says the name in the bottom corner. And that's it. This was literally the Hardys having a conversation with Mick Foley for the whole narration of the whole video. And by default, because I love that video and I love Mick Foley, and I thought my brain automatically went, if I see anything with the Hardys on, I should watch them. And so the next time that the next time I saw them properly, so in fact it would have been 99 when I saw that when I had that tape thinking about it, because the next time I watched anything to do with them was No Mercy 1999, and that was on the repeat on Sky Sports, and saw Jeff Jarrett versus China in the Good Housekeeping match, which was hilarious. And
that was an amazing gimmick.
It was, and then following that, I was watching for it, and then I saw the Hardy Boys versus Edge and Christian was announced for it, and it was before the boom for both teams. So and it was like a ladder match between the two teams, and it was basically the two teams going out there and trying to make their mark on the WWE, and it was absolutely phenomenal. And then I remember watching the build, because that was the point when I started watching wrestling regularly again, like so 1999, just around about the time when Austin got hit by the car. So I missed the Austin boom. like I started at the tail end of the Austin era. And yeah, so I remember the thing of the Hardys and Edge and Christian showing each other respect afterwards. I remember them having like a mutual respected alliance, and at the same time seeing a couple of tie-dye wearing bastards, for lack of a better term, because of how they were portrayed, putting every person they could through tables, including Mae Young. And at one point they did the same thing to Lita, who, and loads of others. It was great. I remember seeing all this. And then we got the Hardy Boys. It wasn't Lita, sorry, it was Terry Runnels. They put Terry Runnels through a table because Lita hadn't aligned with the Hardys yet at this point.
She was still with Essa Rios at that point, wasn't she?
Yes, because Terry Runnels was the valet of the Hardys, and Edge and in that ladder match, Terry was their valet, but she wasn't allowed out for the match because she was a woman, and and that was the 90s misogyny. Whereas SummerSlam, we saw Candice LeRae take the spot of the night. So just how
I would argue that the tag teams of the 90s looked after their female
much better.
It's more. I'm just saying.
True.
I witnessed Johnny Gargano push his wife off a ladder. I don't want to hear this. Someone was pushed into him, and then someone pushed him. He did it himself. All
That's
right?
true.
That's a crime.
Yes. But so we had the Dudleys put Terry Runnels through a table, which led to the first ever tornado tag tables match at Royal Rumble 2000, which, for context, I would have been 13 at that point. And in the UK, we had, outside of Sky TV, there was only 4 television channels at that point. Like BBC One, BBC Two, ITV, and Channel 4. I think Channel 5 appeared around that sort of time. It might have been just before, it might have been just after, I'm not sure. But I can't remember properly. I just remember that it was that sort of era. And Channel 4 had got the rights to 4 wrestling pay-per-views. I can't remember what 4 ones there were off the top of my head, but I know that one of them was the Royal Rumble. So the Royal Rumble was live on Channel 4 in the UK, which was free on everybody's TV. So I remember the joy of staying up to watch that. And many UK fans will also remember that before the Royal Rumble on Channel 4, they had Demi Moore's striptease on, just as a little treat for any young adolescent children and who were waiting to watch wrestling. They got to see that instead. It was glorious. And
someone would say that is how John Cena came up with the 5-knuckle shuffle.
Yes, it was. And so it was awesome. But that Royal Rumble had the tornado tag table match, and it was, as I say, I was drawn to the Hardys and Edge and Christian. I hadn't seen much of the Dudleys at this point, and I watched that match, and it was awesome. And then I remember I didn't watch No Way Out live, but I did tape it because that was the Mick Foley's last chance against Triple H. If Triple H won, Mick Foley as Cactus Jack was going to have to retire in Hell in the Cell match. I was like, Hell in the Cell, Mick Foley, watching it. And I saw the Dudleys beat the New Age Outlaws. I was on that, which was awesome, to win the tag team championships, which brought us to WrestleMania 16, where you had the triple threat ladder match of the Hardys, the Dudleys, and Edge and Christian. And there was like a whole boom of about 2 years from that point on, where the WWE's tag division was just involving those 3 teams. Sometimes the teaser break up with some of them, and then they find their way back, and then it got to like post invasion, and then they did properly split them up when they mainly ran the WWE draft time and stuff. But yeah, we had a good 2-year run of Hardyz, Edge and Christian, and Dudley's, just absolutely raising the bar for WWE tag team wrestling, and it was amazing. It was genuinely a fantastic era. So I've been a fan of them ever since then, and it's like when we've talked about AEW, and I've said that I'm not a fan of AEW, but I like a lot of the guys there. It's Edge and Christian, man. That's the only thing that I try and watch. Well, no, it's not the only thing. One of the only things I try and watch on AEW is Edge and Christian. The other is the Hurt Syndicate, because MVP and Bobby Lashley are awesome, and so is Shelton Benjamin. But I've got like that thing of, because of having the in-depth interviews and stuff with MVP and Bobby Lashley in person, and the stuff that they did for Team Venom years ago, and like getting us and I was, I'm going to be a fan of those guys for life, but yeah. Anyway, I digress. Bound for Glory. And it's just been my voice for about 20 minutes. I'm sorry, man.
It's all right.
So
no, the whole thing, right? This whole episode is a celebration of the Hardys versus the Dudleys, and the road that has led to the match we're getting at Bound for Glory, which still feels absolutely unreal that we're getting it. I think in a time period of over the past, say, 5 years, we've seen a lot of people come back for one match or an appearance match, and there hasn't really been that level of complaint, right? The Hardys can still go. Yeah. Bubba can still go.
Yeah.
Devon, I'm going to guess he can go, because I don't think he put himself out there if he couldn't go anymore.
No. And he's working as an agent. He's got his training school.
Yeah, he had a surgery, and I don't know if he said on the Chris Van Vliet one that he had a stroke at some point. I don't want to say that's true in case it's not. I might be confusing it with someone else, but he's been through a lot, so he's clearly ready to go. And like one last time, it might be mostly nostalgia that's me excited about that. But there's some of my favorite matches of all time are these guys.
Yeah.
Like, I have such a special place in my heart for Survivor Series 2001, and I understand that's controversial, right?
Yeah.
But as a kid,
that was the steel cage match, wasn't it? For the WWF and WCW title.
Yeah.
For the benefit of the listeners and viewers, we purposely said we were going to do this. We weren't going to research. We weren't going to come out with anything that we were going to just shoot from the hip because we both love these teams. So the fact that we're remembering this stuff is great. Sorry.
Survivor Series 2001, I got on DVD as a gift from my auntie because, again, oh yeah, you like wrestling? I saw this wrestling DVD.
Yeah.
Survivor Series 2001. I can't remember what month that was, but
November. Oh no, when you got it. Sorry. Yeah. My brain.
Regardless, I got it in maybe early 2002. Maybe it was a present then. Obviously, delay.
Yeah.
So I'd imagine it probably was like 2002-ish. So I would have been between the age of 5 and 6. I watched that DVD to death.
Yeah.
Like, it just by the end of it, it didn't work anymore, right? And that tag team match is ingrained in my head because of how much I've watched it, and it's still one of the most entertaining matches for me. Yeah. I can tell you it move for move because, watched it way too much. But I still remember the feeling of Matt climbing outside the cage, Jeff climbing to the top. They've done it. 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 They've won it. Jeff's dead. Jeff's dead. They've lost. They lost.
Yeah, and then we got the Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy mini feud that lasted until the Rumble.
Yep.
Remember, it was heel Undertaker that brought them back together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a weird moment.
Yeah. It's just one of those things.
It's a weird moment. But yeah, so I think if you're not hyped or happy about this match announcement, then just fuck up. Yeah, literally. There's not only are we getting this match, but TNA are giving us this match, right?
Yes.
And I think a lot of the online criticism probably comes from that because you know what people like online, they like to moan about everything, no matter what. And I think it's great that TNA are giving us that because in reality, if the WWE turned around and went, no, we want to show this.
Yeah, they could do.
They would.
Both Bubba and Devon are under contract with WWE.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
And we're getting it in TNA because the company means a lot to both teams.
Yeah.
And I think it's gonna be, whether it's a spot fest of nostalgia or just a well laid out match, it's gonna be fun for the fans regardless.
Yeah. I think the other thing as well is that when you look at the Dudleys last match as a tag team, I can't remember what that is. And not a lot of people can, because it would have just been a throwaway episode of Raw. Because that was they did the split in TNA, they did the Aces and Eights thing, they had a really good run, and then it was just 1 week on Raw. Oh, by the way, the Dudleys have gone. Oh, right. Do you know what I mean? It was like not with a bang, but with a whimper, wasn't it? How they ended. So having this match with both teams is a very, very good way to end the career of the Dudleys as a tag team. Much like when they went into the Hall of Fame when they went into the WWE Hall of Fame, Matt and Jeff and Edge and Christian all got up on stage with them and stuff. It makes sense. And as a tag team, the Hardyz and Edge and Christian were their two biggest rivals in teams. And the Hardyz, they did loads more in TNA. When they had the TNA tag team resurgence, which featured the Wolves as well, which was awesome. So
yeah, that very cool. They, I think as well, you've got the amount of eras of tag teams that have a history with either one of these teams is like mental. Yeah, it really is. So the fact we're seeing this in 2025 one last time. It isn't just a Hardyz versus Dudley's nostalgia act. It's literally it's like a final stop in the road as like an homage to the wrestling history these two teams have been a part of. Like, resurgence of tag team wrestling. You know, you can say what you want before the Hardyz, Dudleys, Edge and Christian era. From, we'll say maybe 90.
I'd say
96.
I think
it was very much a hot potato division.
I'd say before then, the WWF Tag Team Championships, I think, went downhill when Bret Hart became a singles wrestler.
So
about 93. Pardon?
Don't let him hear you say that.
Yeah, no, that's a compliment to Bret, if anything. But like 92 onwards, the tag title suddenly was thrown together tag teams. You got like Owen and Yoko, Owen and Bulldog, Shawn Michaels and Austin. That was 96 or 97 when that happened. Then you had you had loads of random tag teams that really probably shouldn't have been tag team champions at the time. And yeah, it was just not focused until they did the Attitude relaunch in '98. They gave the Road Dogg and Billy Gunn a makeover into the New Age Outlaws. I think they had 5 runs before they lost the belts to the Dudley Boys, but I couldn't tell you who they beat for those 5 titles. I can remember some of the defenses. Like I can remember them having the crap kicked out of them by the APA at Armageddon in 1999, and just managing to get out of that by the skin of the teeth sort of thing. And I know there was obviously things like the Rock and Sock Connection was pretty cool when that appeared, but there was no real consistency in the division.
Yeah.
And then Hardy's, Edge and Christian, the Dudleys, and then you throw in. They used to be able to throw in other teams from the roster to feud with them. So you had like Too Cool in there, the Hollies when Hardcore Holly and Crash Holly were doing stuff. There was a brief period where Jericho and Benoit were a tag team and were pretty cool. Then we had the Brothers of Destruction, The Undertaker and Kane. That was all around that same era. There was a real boom in tag team wrestling. And in fact, there was a point where Edge and Christian got screwed out of their tag team championships when they were forced to defend them when they were ill or injured or something against The Rock and The Undertaker.
Yeah.
You remember that? And then the following week, they just won it back.
Yeah.
But it's like they beat The Rock and The Undertaker for the tag titles. And they were featured really, really well during that time and presented really well. The fact that when Triple H and Stone Cold Steve Austin formed an alliance, they wanted those tag titles, and when Undertaker and Kane formed an alliance, they wanted those tag titles. That the level of prestige of those titles had shot up at that point, thanks to Edge, Christian, the Hardys, and the Dudleys.
Yeah. Well, that's it. We say that the Hardys had another run in WWE. Well, a couple of runs past the Dudley era of being in WWE. Obviously, there was obviously the infamous Eminem match. I know they separated, and was very much like that as a tag team during the mid to late 2000s.
Yeah.
And then obviously we got Team 3D in TNA. The teams they came up against in TNA was, you had the Guns, you had Beer Money, you had the Wolves later down the line, as you mentioned.
Yeah. And that was that awesome series that they had where they had the feud between the Hardys, Team 3D, and the Wolves, and that was and that's one of the things that I think at the moment TNA Plus is free to the UK, isn't it? So it's one of those things that's just wonderful to check out and just jump on and watch one of those sorts of matches, because that's the sort of stuff that I would look for, that I look for on there, is those classic matches.
There is also a code out right now for TNA Plus if you want to sign up and use Leon YIC. That's Leon Slater's personal code there. You're welcome.
Nice.
Plugged your TNA. You're welcome.
Yes, you are indeed welcome, TNA.
Yeah.
We've done this whole podcast that's hyping up one match you guys have got this year.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, that's because the match hypes itself. If you're
well, that's it. There's a reason it was announced at Slammiversary and not a closer build to BFGs, because it's immediately, as soon as it was announced. Excuse me, the hype's there.
Yeah. And there's also the storyline in TNA with the Hardys at the moment, where prior to them just winning the titles at Slammiversary, they did that whole promo of, we don't know how much longer we've got, we're looking at the end, towards the end, and all that sort of thing. So it could be that all 4 guys completely retire at Bound for Glory, which will be a sad day if it does, but
That would make me very sad if that happened.
But the only way that they could top that as a retirement match, in terms of like the potential for it, would be if they had Edge and Christian involved.
Yeah,
and because of contracts in AEW, that won't happen. But yeah, I don't think they could get a better send off for either team.
No, definitely not. It's crazy. Like the fact that we haven't had this match in fucking years, right?
Yeah.
But knowing it's the last one, it's a bit upsetting.
It's been, yeah, I know what you mean. It's been about a decade, hasn't it?
I think it's because this is like an official bookend.
Yeah.
To the story, like that's it.
Yeah. Like the for comparison, like the CM Punk John Cena match recently, where they basically said CM Punk said go into it, yeah, no, it's one and done.
Yeah.
And they had such a great match, and it's just that thing of go, we ain't seeing that again. We had to wait for fucking ages to see it again because of how long they were apart. And the same with Randy Orton. They kept Randy Orton and Cena apart a hell of a long time.
Yeah.
Randy Orton and Cena had an absolutely awesome match for that recently. And we're in that year of like having to say goodbye to a lot of those sorts of superstars. I was in more ways than one, because obviously, like, you know, we're still only a few weeks removed from the passing of Hulk Hogan, and like my inner wrestling fan is just, my inner childhood wrestling fan is just been put through the fucking ringer this year. You know what I mean? Like, Cena's having the last match with Orton, and he's going to retire at the end of the year. Oh, Goldberg's back. Oh no, he's back for a retirement match. You know what I mean? It's a very bittersweet year for wrestling fans, but a very, very awesome one in terms of match quality.
Oh yeah, the match quality has been unbelievable.
Yeah.
I think match-wise, I think across companies, not just one particular, I think this has been one of the best for consistency.
Yes.
Which is nice. And I think that's probably a little bit of a pressure thing on on the Hardyz Dudley thing. To be honest, we'd love to interview, blah, blah, but I'd love to just, if I could get one question across, it would very much be, is there the most pressure you've ever felt for one of your guys is like 100 plus matches?
Yeah.
Because everyone, all eyes are going to be on this.
Yes. So, yeah, that would be an awesome thing to ask him.
And they probably don't know.
No, don't worry about it. Yeah. The Rob Van Dam one, like, yeah, probably. Yeah. Favorite interview ever, Rob Van Dam. You're looking forward to going after such and such. You guys have had some brilliant matches in such and such and such and such. But so since he's now got the title, what's your fuss? Yeah, I'd like to buy it. Cheers, Rob.
Cheers, Rob. Back to you in the studio.
Oh wait, we've been cut off because that was that one question.
Yeah.
Built it up like a 2-minute fucking question. Yeah.
For a 2-second response.
Best interview ever.
RVD was also in TNA.
Yeah. That was during his TNA thing. He'd been feuding with Jeff Hardy and stuff, and yeah. Oh dear. But yeah, so I mean, I'm really, really looking forward to Bound for Glory in general, and the best thing about them announcing this match is the level of exposure that it's giving them means that they could literally put any other matches on that show. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think
for the nostalgia thing, and for people like us who Attitude Era WWE fans and Ruthless Aggression Era original TNA fans and stuff, that match alone just sells the show. And there's going to be a large portion of wrestling fans out there that will feel the same, because of course there is.
Oh yeah, of course, without a doubt. I think Bound for Glory is going to be, obviously we're 2 and a bit, months removed. It's October, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I have a feeling that we're going to get the the goodbye to the past in the Harley Dudley match, and I think we're gonna get a new step for TNA in. I feel like maybe someone like Mike Santana.
I was going to say Santana. I think Santana's getting the title off trade. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we could do a full on Bound for Glory pod, but at the same time, we could just talk about it now.
No, we'll do a pod close to the time when we know what's officially happening.
But we are predicting Santana versus Santana gets the title off trick. Yeah, that's more than likely going to happen. Because close to the time we'll have a match card and we'll be able to preview it properly.
There you go. But I think that I have so much, like, the Hardys, the Dudleys, I like the tag team equivalent to me is like Undertaker and Steve Austin, and like they were the tag teams for years. So and I think it's, who do you think wins this? That's the thing. I know it doesn't matter.
We do. We win.
100%. That's 100% the correct answer. That is 100% the correct answer because it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I know. That's it. It could be one of those things where they, like, the old double clothesline spot and just lie down and one's got an arm over the other and fuck it. They both pin.
Well, there's only ever been one team to kick out of the 3D, hasn't there?
Yes.
And that's the Guns.
Yes.
So that it could be how it goes out. The Hardys actually kick out of a 3D.
I think they might let them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see them doing that. I think it depends on what the Hardys' plans are going forward. If they are retiring, if this is their last match, then whoever wins is up in the air. If they're still tag team champions going into it and it's a tag team championship match, which is what it looks like it might be, and they're planning on sticking around, then obviously they'd have to win to keep the belts, because you wouldn't put the belts on the Dudleys for one night for them to leave. Unless they vacate it. And
I was going to say, unless this is a way to get the belts off the Hardys to like an established team.
Yeah.
And then they do like a tournament thing.
Well, they could do that too, yeah.
Or a ladder match or something like that.
Or if the Hardys could be the tag team champs going into it and they could still say it's the last match and then vacant titles and
I don't think it's the Hardys' last match. I'll be genuinely surprised if that turns out to be the situation. I think both of them can still go. They both want to go. They don't seem to want to slow down.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's all, like I said, we're a few months away, so we still technically have no clue.
Which is great.
Oh, it is great.
Yeah.
But it's confusing.
Well, we will wrap this up because, to be perfectly honest, I don't think there's a lot more we can say. I mean, we could break down matches, we could go for that, but this episode is just a celebration of the fact that match is even happening, because I'm so hyped. I'm really like for wrestling for the rest of this year. I mean, we've had, like I mentioned earlier, the Cena matches. We've had lots of stuff that's hyped up. We know for a fact, because of the conversation that we were having earlier off air, that in WWE in October we've got Crown Jewel, where it's the champion versus champion stuff, and Cody versus Seth will absolutely deliver, as will whoever the women's champions are facing each other. I'm assuming Tiffany versus Naomi, but anything can change because it's still Clash at Paris before that. But like for the WWE side of stuff, we've got Brock Lesnar versus John Cena coming up, which I'm assuming is going to be at Clash.
Yeah.
The October,
that European crowd are going to eat that up, by the way.
Oh yeah. But I mean, like in October for WWE, we've got the Crown Jewel thing, and I'd say it'll be a fair match. I'll absolutely watch the whole show. I'll still enjoy it, but I'm looking forward to Bound for Glory more. And I think this the Hardys versus Edge and Christian. Sorry, the Hardys versus the Dudleys will be the thing that makes it that I'm going to be looking forward to the most in wrestling over the next 2 months.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think we haven't had a match with this kind of history and I think impact, not pun intended, for a while, and we're not going to have it until December. That's the next one.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, we will sign off. It's been a fun little stroll down memory lane and fun discussion to have about two of the greatest tag teams of all time. Technically three, because I mentioned Edge and Christian a hell of a lot. So, you know, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And everyone that's a fan of wrestling from the 90s onwards should also be looking forward to it. And if you've been a fan of TNA for a while, well, I mean, there was that thing that we barely touched upon. I know you mentioned the awesome feuds that they had, but the Dudleys becoming TNA tag champs and having those feuds really elevated the titles as well.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And they are. I remember. I think there's title runs that they've had in TNA, same with the Hardyz, that are more memorable than the WWE runs, which is amazing. Do you know what I mean? Like the last couple of Hardyz runs were great, but TNA stuff much better.
So, yeah, definitely.
So yeah, looking forward to it. Anyway, thank you everyone for listening, and we'll see you next time.